The old stories passed down through generations tell of Ragnarok. These tales, etched in memory and stone, speak of a cataclysmic event, a time of endings, a final chapter written in fire and blood. It wasn't presented as a mere possibility, a distant threat, but as a certainty, an unavoidable destiny etched into the fabric of existence. The gods of Asgard in their golden halls knew it was coming, and Odin, the All-Father, wise and all-seeing, saw it clearest, the threads of fate unspooling before him. He had glimpsed the future, the grim tapestry of Ragnarok at great cost, sacrificing his own eye for the well of knowledge. He saw the fall of gods, their glorious reign brought to a violent end, the ruin of worlds, the destruction of everything they held dear. A burden that shadowed even their brightest days, a constant reminder of the doom that awaited them. The Norns, the ancient keepers of fate, spun these threads of doom, weaving the inevitable end into the very fabric of reality. They toiled at the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree, the axis upon which all of existence turned. Ragnarok was the twilight of the gods, the final, devastating act in their saga. A great winter, a time of unending cold and darkness, brother against brother, families torn apart by strife and betrayal, oaths broken, promises shattered like glass, sun and moon devoured by monstrous wolves, plunging the world into eternal night, stars falling from the sky, celestial bodies crashing down to earth, earth trembling, the very foundations of the world crumbling beneath their feet. This prophecy, delivered by seers and etched in ancient runes, was stark and terrible, a vision of utter annihilation. The gods tried to delay it, to alter the course of fate, but destiny, once set in motion, is relentless, an unstoppable force. Whispers of doom, carried on the wind, drifted through the nine worlds, a chilling premonition of what was to come. From Asgard, the shining realm of the gods, to Midgard, the world of humans, even to Jotunheim, the frozen realm of the giants, where the giants waited with grim anticipation, sharpening their weapons and plotting their revenge. Yet, Ragnarok was not only an end, a final crushing defeat, but perhaps a beginning, a chance for rebirth. A cleansing, a fiery purification of the old world, or the final settling of all scores, a reckoning for the ages. The air grew thick with foreboding. A silent tension stretched taut before the storm, a palpable sense of impending doom. The gods watched for signs, scanning the horizon for any indication of the coming cataclysm, knowing the players who would bring about their downfall, the monstrous creatures and vengeful giants who sought their destruction. Some their own kin, twisted by jealousy and resentment, their own mistakes, the consequences of their actions echoing through eternity. The prophecy spoke of great wolves, Fenrir, whose hunger could consume the world, a colossal serpent, Jormungandr, whose coils encircled Midgard, stirring the oceans into a frenzy, fire, wielded by the giant Surtur, ready to engulf the nine worlds in flames, ice, the chilling advance of the frost giants, threatening to freeze all life, and betrayal from within, the treachery of Loki, the master of deceit. Despite their power, their wisdom, the gods could not unwrite what was written. They were bound by the threads of fate. They could only choose how to face it, with courage, with defiance, or with despair. And so they lived under this looming shadow, their feasts and laughter tinged with the bitter taste of impending destruction, a constant reminder of their mortality. The Norns' threads tightened, drawing the world closer to its inevitable end, and the world waited, holding its breath. The gods' every action, every joy was haunted by the knowledge of what was to come, their celebrations muted by the specter of Ragnarok. The nine worlds braced for the storm, each realm sensing the approach of chaos, the tremors of the coming apocalypse. The prophecy was a weight none could escape, a burden that pressed down on gods and mortals alike. Even the mightiest gods, the strongest warriors, felt small beneath its shadow, their power diminished in the face of inevitable doom. The end was coming, and all knew it. The signs were unmistakable, the portents clear. Ragnarok was not just a story, it was fate, the final chapter in the saga of the Norse gods, a destiny sealed by the Norns. The world held its breath, a moment of eerie calm before the storm, a pregnant silence before the final, devastating act. The twilight was near, the sun setting on the age of the gods, the darkness of Ragnarok about to descend. Loki, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue, was not born of Asgard. He was a giant by blood, a cunning trickster with a silver tongue, a master of deception, and always unpredictable in his actions and motives. Welcomed by Odin as a blood brother, an alliance forged in the heart of Asgard, Loki's initial mischief, often playful and light-hearted, gradually curdled into something far more sinister, malice. He fathered monstrous children, beings of immense power and destructive potential. Fenrir the wolf, a creature of immense size and ferocity, Jormungandr the serpent, a colossal sea serpent destined to encircle the world, and Hel, the chilling queen of the underworld, ruler of the realm of the dead. Each of these offspring was destined for a pivotal role in the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok. The gods, gripped by fear and driven by the ominous prophecies, desperately tried to control them, binding Fenrir with magical chains, an act of desperation to contain his growing power, casting Jormungandr into the vast and turbulent sea, hoping to isolate his destructive potential and banishing Hel to the desolate realm of Niflheim, the cold and unforgiving underworld. These actions, born of fear and desperation, only served to deepen Loki's already simmering resentment. His heart grew cold and hardened. His loyalty to Asgard slowly but surely began to fade away. Loki's betrayals began subtly as quiet whispers in the halls of power, sowing seeds of discord and suspicion amongst the gods, eroding their unity and trust. He was the flaw in Asgard's otherwise perfect tapestry, a necessary evil both needed for balance and deeply feared for his potential. The balance began to irrevocably tip. Loki's shadow grew longer and darker, eclipsing any remaining trace of harmless mischief and playful trickery. Even before his most infamous and devastating crime, his insidious influence was a slow-acting poison, corrupting Asgard from within. Loki became the catalyst for chaos, the unpredictable and ultimately uncontrollable force that the gods could no longer contain or restrain. His tragic journey from mischievous trickster to formidable enemy was a key and essential thread in the unraveling of the tapestry of the gods' age, signaling its inevitable decline. He was chaos incarnate, a living embodiment of disorder and destruction, a dark and ominous promise of the devastating events that were inevitably to come. The world and all its inhabitants would soon feel the full and terrible weight of Loki's growing malice. Baldr, son of Odin and Frigg, a figure of unparalleled beauty and grace, was the god of light and joy, beloved by all who dwelled in Asgard and beyond. His presence brought warmth and happiness, but a darkness stirred when he began to dream of his own death, a chilling premonition that haunted his sleep. These visions cast a long, ominous shadow over Asgard, dimming its golden halls and filling the hearts of the gods with dread. Frigg, desperate to protect her beloved son, made every creature and thing in all of creation swear a solemn oath not to harm Baldr, ensuring his safety through magical protection. Yet, in her haste, she overlooked the mistletoe, deemed too young and harmless to pose any threat. The gods, reassured by Frigg's efforts, began to revel in Baldr's apparent invulnerability, turning it into a game, gleefully hurling weapons that bounced harmlessly off him, a testament to his charmed life. But Loki, ever envious and cunning, watched from the shadows and soon learned of the mistletoe's fateful exemption from Frigg's oath. With wicked intent, he fashioned a dart from the unassuming plant and sought out Hödr, Baldr's blind brother, who was often isolated, standing apart from the joyous games due to his inability to see. With deceptive charm, Loki offered Hödr the mistletoe dart and cruelly guided his hand to aim at his own brother. The dart, tipped with mistletoe, struck Baldr, and in that instant the god of light fell dead. A profound silence and overwhelming grief swept through Asgard. The radiant light of Baldr had been extinguished, plunging the realm into darkness. The gods were utterly stunned, paralyzed by disbelief and sorrow, their joy and laughter shattered into a million pieces. Baldr's death marked the first great tragedy to befall the gods. A deep wound that Asgard would never fully heal, forever scarred by eternal sorrow. With Baldr's demise, the grim prophecy of Ragnarok was irrevocably set in motion. Loki's act of malice had struck the deepest, most devastating blow imaginable. The hope of the gods began to dwindle, their light dimming in the face of despair. The world itself seemed to respond to their grief, growing colder with each passing day. The shadow of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, lengthened ominously across the horizon. The gods could only mourn the loss of Baldr, feeling utterly powerless and helpless to undo the tragic fate that had befallen them. The beginning of the end had truly begun, its icy grip tightening around the Nine Worlds. A suffocating darkness settled over the Nine Worlds, a chilling prelude to the coming storm. Baldr's death marked the true beginning of the end. Fimbulwinter arrived, 3 relentless winters, no summers between, snow from all directions, and a sun that gave no warmth. Society unraveled, brother against brother, oaths forgotten, humanity driven to savagery by cold and hunger. The world became a frozen wasteland, fields barren, rivers solid ice. The joy Baldr embodied was a distant memory. The earth itself suffered. Earthquakes shook the Nine Worlds, mountains crumbled, Yggdrasil groaned. All restraints weakened, the very laws of the cosmos began to unravel. The bonds forged by the gods broke. Fenrir shattered his unbreakable chain, Gleipnir, and was free, hungry for vengeance. Deep beneath the earth, Loki broke free from his own bonds, his heart black with hatred. The forces of destruction gathered. The world teetered on the brink. The prophecy was coming true. The gods' power waned. The final storm approached. Ragnarok was at hand. Heimdallr, watchman of the gods, stood vigilant at the Bifrost Bridge, ever watchful. One day he saw the signs, ships of the dead, giants marching, Fenrir unleashed, Jormungandr rising from the sea. The final hour had come. Heimdallr raised Gjallarhorn and blew a blast so powerful it shook all 9 worlds. The sound echoed everywhere. Ragnarok had begun. Odin heard the call, mounted Sleipnir, and sought counsel from Mimir's well. The gods armed themselves. Thor gripped Mjolnir, Tyr prepared for war, Freyr readied for battle without his magic sword. The Einherjar, fallen warriors of Valhalla, gathered for their destined fight. There was no more waiting. The gods faced their fate. The realms braced for war. The end was now. The final confrontation was upon them. The gods stood together, united by doom. The last battle was set. As Heimdallr's horn sounded, Asgard's enemies gathered. From Jotunheim, frost giants marched, their hatred ancient and deep. With them came rock giants and monstrous beings eager for vengeance. From Muspelheim, Surtur led fire giants, his flaming sword brighter than the sun, their passage turning earth to ash. The sky glowed red with their approach. Naglfar, the ship of the dead, sailed the poisoned seas, helmed by Loki and crewed by the dishonorable dead. All forces converged on Vigrid. The vast plain fated for the final battle. The ground trembled, the air crackled with dread. The prophecy would be fulfilled here. The stage was set for the ultimate confrontation. The fate of the 9 worlds hung in the balance. On Vigrid's plain, chaos erupted. The gods and their Einherjar faced the darkness, Odin leading, spear in hand, charging Fenrir. War cries, steel and screams filled the air. Thor battled Jormungandr, the serpent's venom poisoning land and sky. Each blow from Mjolnir was thunder itself. Freyr faced Surtur, outmatched by the fire giant's blazing blade. Tyr fought Garm, both falling together. Heimdallr and Loki clashed their enmity, ending in mutual destruction. The battle raged, heroes fell, monsters slain, but chaos overwhelmed order. The giants pressed on the dead, swarmed. The world itself seemed to tear apart. The sun and moon were gone, devoured by wolves. The twilight deepened. The tide turned against the gods. Odin fell to Fenrir, swallowed whole. Vidar avenged his father, tearing Fenrir apart. Thor slew Jormungandr, but died from its venom. With the gods fallen, Surtur unleashed his flaming sword, setting the 9 worlds ablaze. Yggdrasil shuddered and burned. The earth split open, stars vanished in smoke. The seas rose, quenching fire, but drowning all. The earth sank beneath the waves. Darkness and silence reigned. The battle was over. The gods, giants, and monsters were gone. Ragnarok had ended the old world. All that was known was lost. The 9 worlds were no more. Only the void remained. But the end was not truly the end. After the fires cooled and waters receded, a new world emerged, green, fertile, and beautiful. A new sun shone in the sky. Life returned. Some gods survived. Vidar and Vali, Thor's sons Modi and Magni, and Baldr and Hoder, returned from hell, ready to bring peace. 2 humans, Lif and Lifthrasir, survived, hidden in Yggdrasil, to repopulate the earth. The old stories became lessons, not threats. Even in destruction there was renewal. Ragnarok taught resilience and hope. The gods fought, knowing they would lose, but fought for what mattered. From their ashes, life began anew. The darkest night was followed by dawn. The cycle continued. Hope endured.